Hi, I wanted to help you look up the details for your grade. It will be good in case you lost any tests that I handed back to you, or if you're not sure how to interpret the weighted scale from the syllabus, or maybe you're not sure if something's correct that you saw from your online scores. So first of all, earlier in the semester, I gave you the how to look up your grade um, ID form. It shows you how I formulated your class IDs, which came from the second letter of your last name, the middle three numbers of your student ID, and then the fourth letter of your first name. In some cases, I have to throw in another letter, but for the most part, this is it. So it's kind of like a 1, 2, 3, 4 step process. So one combination that's made up of your second letter from your last name, three middle numbers from your student ID, and you got to remember that your student ID actually has a 0 in front, so there really are three middle numbers, and then the fourth letter of your first name. So I sent also, and it's also in the Dropbox, this list for all students in the class, and this was earlier, so some of these students are gone now, and so you won't see their IDs in there, which doesn't matter, you're not looking for their IDs. But essentially, you should see your number on this list. And in the case that there was a duplicate, there'll be there'll be another letter attached to the end, which is the last letter of the first name. So anyway, look over this if you have any questions and you're not sure how to find your class ID. Let me know. But here it is again, the explanation. And both of these files are inside the Dropbox. Okay, and then in the Dropbox, I placed your class grades for each of your classes. So, there's one class, but, there's one for Math 61, if that's your class, or Math 64, and so on. So the title of it is Burrell Spring 2014, Your Class Grades with Class IDs. So I'll just go ahead and open one of those. Now, these are not sorted alphabetically, and they're not showing all of the cells that are there if you download it. If you don't download it, I'll show you how it would look if you opened it in Dropbox directly, because Dropbox has a viewer, and then you can download the actual file and view it the way I was viewing it. And if you don't have Microsoft Excel, that's okay, because Microsoft has a viewer you can go download. Your computer probably already has it on there, even if you don't have the full purchased Microsoft. Or at the worst, your student account through West Hills has the ability to open Microsoft Documents in your OneDrive. It's a light version, but it works for viewing stuff. Okay, so I will tell you how I did sort this, though, because it does look like it's in an interesting sorting. It's not alphabetical. I actually have to unhide, so I'm going to select these two columns and right-click, and then choose unhide, or hit U, and it'll show me all of the attendance that you had or that I have recorded for you. So that's something you might want to look into. And if you notice, some of these things are all garbled up. It's because when I resorted it, the original formatting changed, and so you don't see this. What this said was spring break, no class, or some of these other days. Let's see here. It's like Washington's Day and Lincoln's Day, holidays that we had that we didn't have class. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, no class. So anyways, what I actually chose to sort this by was by the percentage of attendance. And I know that you don't receive an attendance grade, but it did help us to keep track of participation. It was one way that we kept track of participation. So anyways, that's the sort, and it's kind of interesting because you'll notice that you've got some of your higher scores up at the top, but there isn't a direct correlation between the attendance. It's not a tight correlation. I didn't run the Pearson R value or anything like that, but it doesn't seem to be a tight correlation between attendance. And I think that's because there's a lot of us that would sometimes miss class or come late or leave early, but we were hanging in there and we were learning our math, and that was what was important. But you will notice that there is a very strong correlation down at the bottom that if you did not attend, it didn't work out well for you. You didn't pass the class, or worse, you got an F. Okay, so you'll see your percentage of the grade and then the letter associated with that. And these are all by formulas, so don't click on and mess up the formulas. If you do, it doesn't matter. I've already submitted grades, and I have the official documents. These aren't official. These contain the official grades, but these aren't official. So you can't manipulate this and then try to make a statement that that's what your grade should be. So don't bother. But if you do want to see, it's scoring according to the syllabus, and I'll just run through that. Depends on your class. This is Math 63. Math 63 and Math 61 are nearly the same. Essentially, there were single chapter tests, and then those went in with the quiz average, and then there were double chapter tests, and then those went in with the final exam. And all of the weights for all of my classes are on your syllabus, so it explains your weights. Anyway, then you had homework in Math 63 and Math 61. The percentage was 16% for that. For Math 101 and Math 64, the percentage was 20. Then you have homework extra credit. You didn't know that you were going to get that, but that was if you did those. This is for Math 61 and Math 63. That was if you did those chapters, those practice for the chapters. They weren't practice tests. They were in the homework. So you may have not done any. You may have done a little bit, like 29%, and this is only worth. It's prorated at 3%, so it's not worth a lot, but that may have made you get you over the bump for the next letter grade. The quizzes are also hidden, so if I want to unhide them, and you can kind of tell because the labels go CK and then DE, so there's something there that's not showing. You just right click and unhide, and then you'll be able to see all your quiz scores. Now these came directly from what I exported from Course Compass. So I submitted zeros for any quizzes that weren't done or not finished, and then they weren't necessarily submitted as a zero, they were submitted as a finished score, and then it gave me whatever you had. And then I pulled those down, and then we had some others like the graphing quiz and the exponents quiz, and then depending on what class you were in, you had some other things there. If you want to look at those details, those are there. Those came again off of Course Compass for the most part, and the homework average also, I got that from Course Compass. And if you want to check your Course Compass scores, by the way, you just go in under Gradebook. And then these tests, I'll show you, just expand all of these. And it's going to be similar for all of your classes. So essentially, you can look and see, if we had a test, I put down the raw score. The name of the test is at the top, so that's the Chapter 10, also had Section 9.1 on it. It was at a 30, and this person got 29, and then they also did the extra credit activity, which was supposed to be on in that class. It was on the back of the Scantron, and it was prorated for 5%. So then that was added in here. You'll see that what it's doing is it's finding that percentage, and then it's adding the percentage of extra credit for that. So you can go into all the details that you want. I'm not suggesting you need to, so that's why I left it. I tried to leave it simple. Let's get back here a little bit and just show you the final scores tallied up and then the final grade tallied up. All right, let me quickly show you what it looks like in Dropbox. So in Dropbox, I'll just go ahead and choose a different class. Let's choose like Math 64. Look for your class, Burrell, grades with class ID. Now if you open in here, the formatting is messed up, or it's not as nice. So you would want to download that. But you still could, like if you're using a mobile device and you want to try looking things up in there, you still could. You got to scroll down, find your ID. Again, if you know that you attended every single class, then your ID should be up here at the top somewhere, because that was sorted by attendance. Okay, and then it's interesting, you can see that there wasn't a correlation here. The person who attended the most got a 69.99 and ended up with a C. Anyways, if you want any more details, check out the labels. For example, in Math 64, it says, here's test 5, which was just chapter 7. It was a multiple choice test, but I actually, and this is the only curve I made in any of my classes, I actually made a curve on that test that was multiple choice only of 1 standard deviation. So it was like a pretty basic curve. And then you've got your homework scores right there. Again, the formatting gets a little messed up if you use the viewer, the native viewer from Dropbox. So please download the file and then use Excel or use OneDrive from your student account. But if you're just wanting to look at the specifics or the grade percent and then the letter, here they are. Okay. So again, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm trying to think right now. I'll take a pause and quickly check again to see if there's anything else you might want to know. No, I think that's it. Except for I will say that in these files, I'll go ahead and unhide a few of these. I would leave the spots blank if they weren't turned in. If items were turned in but didn't receive a passing score, received a 0 score, I'd put 0. So when you look through the details, when you see something totally missing, that means I didn't have a recorded score for it. And if that's something you have a question about, just go ahead and give me your Scantron, or you can schedule a time for me to meet with you. If you have any questions about the grade, let me know and we can talk about it. But I scoured through these items, so they should be just fine with all the details there. Good job for those of you that passed, and good job for those of you that tried hard, and even if you didn't pass. For those of you that it didn't work out, you might want to, I encourage you to go ahead and try the, let me go there actually. Try the placement exam again and see if maybe from the effort that you did put in, even though you don't have enough to get you past the class, try that placement test again and see if maybe you can pass the placement test to get yourself to stay on track. Supposing that you're taking Math 101 this semester and you're supposed to be taking 61, but you failed. Well, take the placement exam and see if maybe you did learn enough. You just weren't able to show that in tests and in your other work. Again, that's the Lemoore webpage. Go to Admissions and Financial Aid, choose Placement and Test Orientation, and then you can go down and choose the schedule and see what's available, make an appointment. And inside here they have a Course Compass account with a different name. It's not your regular Course Compass account. And you sign up under Placement and Placement 1, and then they've got some practice tests. All right, I think that's enough talking. It's now 13 minutes.